So actually the first day all I did was draw the rug and the front wall and the door and the window. And then we played a game where we figured out, you know, which squares were which, and I'd say, go stand on this square, and I'd put the magnet like here. I said, go there. And then eventually I'd go to a blank one. And then the next day I drew in all the walls and windows and doors, and then I drew in the furniture, and then I would do something like say, oh, oops, go to this spot. And they would run to that spot. If they knew it, you know, there would only be a couple that would get that. We read Iggy Peck Architect because I'd say, oh, I have a friend that's an architect that's coming in. And they just looked at me blankly and said, oh, who knows what an architect is? Nobody knew. So I said, I'm not going to tell them. I read Iggy Peck Architect, and then I said, oh, so what does an architect do? And at first they said an architect builds buildings, and then someone said an architect makes plans for a building. So we talked more about that. The next day, I come into my pocket and say, I'm going to be an architect now. You're all going to become architects. And I said, and you're going to get a client. And here's my client. And I said, first I have to introduce myself to my clients. I say, oh, my name is Miss Patty. What's your name? Oh, his name's Mickey. And I'm going to ask my client what he wants. I'm going to design a house for my client. So what would you like, Mickey? He wants a playroom. He wants a bedroom. He wants to go through the whole thing. And then finally I open my my hand and say, oh, this is Mickey. And they all get a little mouse, and you know, it's got initials on the bottom, or we put initials on the bottom. So they each have their mouse. And then so their first job is to interview their client. And after they interview their client, they get a sheet of paper like this. Let's see if I can find a decent one. And then they're supposed to create a floor plan for their client based on what their client wants and what they need. And then after they do their floor plan, they have to go and get it approved by the building department. So they go to Miss Natalie and they get it stamped that it's approved. And in order to get it approved, they have to show where the walls are, where the doors are, where the windows are, and what the rooms are for. And you know, some came out better than others, of course. Then once they get their floor plan approved, then they come back and they get a, basically, let me see if I can find this, a beer flat. And in the beer flat, they draw their floor plan because it's about the same size as the piece of paper. Once they draw their floor plan in the beer flat, they start adding walls. They use wheat paste and they use walls. They can make a door. I'll have to show you a really cool door that one of the girls did. And then I've got different slices, strips of cardboard. They can cut them and glue them on. Once they got their floors up, or their walls up, then they get all these materials free from Home Depot. We've got vinyl, carpet. I try to get the stuff that's easier to cut.
And you got this free from Home Depot.
Yeah. I don't think they want to rush, but but you know, like pieces of wood, they can't cut these. I probably wouldn't get these again. But it does. We talk about flooring. We like reached into a bag and what do you feel and what could this be and what kinds of things are on the floor at home. And so basically, I've got those three things. And then they also, last year I got all these paint chips, and I'm thinking they could glue these on the walls. Instead, they go, Miss Patty, would you mix this color for me? And I thought, well, I was a painter for 35 years, okay. And sure enough, I thought with tempera paint, man, I nailed it. They all got the colors they wanted. Oh, I can remember. So then once they get their walls and their floors and their paint colors, then we've got, I just bring in all kinds of materials. We actually, we read this book, which I didn't have the first couple times I taught this, but I found this at the library. The Secret House of Papa Mouse. Don't tell everybody, because I'll never be able to get it. They only have one copy. But it has things like this. And Papa Mouse goes scavenging through the house at night when the owners are sleeping, and then he makes all of his furniture. And let's see, there's one place where he uses a comb as a railing and balustrade for the stairs.
Wow, I almost see a connection to reduce, reuse, recycle in repurposing. Oh my goodness!
I mean, This could be one of those projects instead of building.
Yeah,
But,
either
you know,
way.
It introduces them to that concept.
Yeah.
So we read the book, and then we made a list. Well, what would you like? What would be good to build with? And of course, I have all kinds of things ready. But if they tell me things that they want, that are, I don't know how to list it, but we make what things that they saw that they might be able to use: chopsticks, puzzle pieces, stuffing, cardboard, popsicle sticks, paper. And of course, I've got this all like raring to go already. But if they say something else, we try to get it, or we ask them to bring in things. And like little boxes have been brought in, and just all kinds of other stuff. Then once they're finished, and that's what we were doing today, because I'm getting ready to send these home, they have to come. They have to have it approved by the building inspector. And so they have to, and the building inspector wants to know how they built their house. So again, and so this is expressive language and, you know, explaining like a step-by-step process, and, you know, some do more than others. But then they come to me and they explain to me about their house, and if they, you know, if the building inspector approves it, and they've all been approved, then we get a certificate of occupancy. And they get a sticker on there, which was a great incentive for them to come to me and do it.
Oh, that's
I was at Trader Joe's last night, and this woman had this big roll, and I went, "What are those?" And she said, "They're stickers for kids. Like, they come in." I said, "I have 17 kids," and she gave them to me, and I said, "I know what I'll use these for." I hadn't done that before, but I thought that that's another piece of language that they could get, a certificate of occupancy we talked about, and they went, "What's that?" So I explained what a certificate was, and theirs was going to be a sticker. And then I explained that occupancy means that you can occupy or go into a building, and now their clients can go into their building.
That's great. That's awesome. So let me ask you something. Are you doing this as a small group activity, or is this something that they just go and do, and you encourage them to do all of this during free choice time?
I encourage it during free choice time. And so I try to think of little incentives, like the stickers were an incentive for them to come to me. They all wanted to get a sticker. So, you know, "Oh, can I have my building inspected now? Can I have the house inspected?" And so that's what they did. But each time when I did the floor plans, they all had to do a floor plan, because I wanted to capture a particular indicator, and which had to do with being able to represent things, I forget what it's symbolically.
Symbolically, yes.
So I was trying to get that indicator from them. And then one thing that I can capture with this is the kids that really do the whole deal. They're working on it multiple days, sometimes multiple weeks, so I'm capturing persistence. And I forget what all I'm capturing.
Language, social, emotional.
When they explain it to me, then it's language, and it's you know, using things in a way that they're not intended, and I forget all the indicators. But
And
anyway,
some of the cognitive areas, thinking above and beyond.
In fact, I was just going to sit down and do that earlier, but I didn't get that far. I was trying to go through, and because I'm taking like videos as they explain it to me, what they are, and showing, you know, what the different rooms are for, and you know, taking pictures of their floor plan and their mouse house to go into, you know, the TS Gold data and stuff